Well, hello everyone, welcome along. It is the online darts and it is Saturday night. We know England are playing. However, for the next hour, we are all yours as myself and Chris Mason look ahead to tonight's final and genuinely chat a bit of darting nonsense.
Just darts, talking tungsten, mate, for an hour.
Exactly.
Well, just under, so we'll give you time to open a can or two and get ready for the footy.
Yeah, but great week. Yeah, mates, as well so far.
Yeah, some new players, some new names for me, that's for sure, and some new faces. And some very, very solid darts again. Yeah, great week.
Look on screen as well. A nice little function here for you all at home. If I press like that.
Okay. I think I'll to beat Conan in the final. Okay, Mark. Well, we'll have a look at that in a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, 95 matches played. A running average of 85.57, which is right up there with some of the best weeks we've had. 176 180s. They were a key part of the week. You had something like 16 averages or 17 averages over 95. We had 36 averages over 90. So the standard was good. There were some really key moments that were quite edgy. And the return of Terry Jenkins.
I'll tell you what. Yes, he's been rusty. But there has been moments of vintage Terry Jenkins.
Yeah, well, very, very much like myself, although I did probably play a bit after. We went to the Middle East.
Bahrain, wasn't it?
Yeah, Bahrain. And it was November of 2019. And, of course, when we came back from that, it was the Worlds. And, of course, the exhibitions then go a little bit quiet. And Terry had to ask his missus where his darts were. And they were actually in the bottom of the case he used to go to Bahrain. So that was the last time we picked them up. So some of the performance, I mean, his throw looks absolutely identical. I mean, it literally, you watch him and you think he hasn't been anywhere.
Yeah, completely. Everyone's loving the new feature of comments on screens as well. So we can, don't get wrong, we won't be able to do them all because there's loads, but we'll pick and choose the ones we're going to answer and we will get them up on screen for you. Again, come and get involved in the chat room.
Yes, and it's open. Ask any questions you want, any comments you have. Try and keep it clean because we don't want to block them. And it is a family show.
So we're not past the watershed just yet.
No.
Right, we'll start with Group A. And this seems a long, long time ago now. But Martin Thomas, top of the table.
Yeah, new player. Obviously, I'd seen his name appear in other events. But to actually sort of sit down and study him as a player, lost his opening match, won the next 13, and then lost his final match to Terry Jenkins, who averaged 98, but the damage was done. And that was one of the most prolific, dominating performances I could certainly remember over a Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. He was outstanding, absolutely rock solid. And, there was some special moments in there. 103.92 average, his highest of the week, which, again, he made look very, very comfortable. He has been a surprise package.
Yeah, completely. Terry Jenkins finishing second. Carl Wilkinson as well. He's been very, very steady across the whole week.
Yeah, he was solid. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we've seen a completely different dynamic to him on Thursday and Friday, of course. But those three were they were the sort of the dominant players.
Yeah.
Where credit's due, Robert Rickwood, of course, won the first Mad Darts qualifier. And again, we don't know, you just don't know what to expect. I mean, he's from a wonderful darting county of Lancashire. Getting to know him a bit, and the people he knows are a lot of the people that we both know. Well known in the dart circuit, so no real surprise. And we've seen his averages coming into it. Although he didn't quite replicate them, he was another player that over the Thursday and Friday sort of took it up another level.
Yeah, and massive shout out to Robert Ricker as well. I'll come on to him in a minute. At the start of the week, there was nerves. He was the mad qualifier, the first mad qualifier to play in the online darts league.
Overall, didn't he?
We've noticed,
and rightly so, because that group was horrendous.
And this is, I keep telling people, this is like nothing you've ever played in before.
No.
When that door's shut, there is you, your opponent, and the referee. That is it.
Silence, absolute silence.
Yeah.
And it's literally, there's cameras everywhere in here, and it's quite an intimidating place, I should imagine. Which is why we see the players that do come back do improve. They, and of course with COVID and everything else, they're in their secure bubble in a practice room. Then they've got to be brought through into the studio, and like you say, then they're sort of locked in, and then they do battle. So it's a different environment for them. And of course, a lot of the players, like everybody else in the world of darts, except the elite, have had no tournament play, so they're all coming in a little bit rusty. The only time they're getting the opportunity to practice is if they get an invite into this or qualify like Robert.
Then we're at Group C. Conan Whitehead came through, and across the 2 mornings, he was the standout.
Yeah, he threw some very, very solid stuff, didn't he? He was he had the second highest average of the week, 102.84 on Friday against the luckless Lee Evans. Yeah, I mean there was flashes there. I mean we've seen him in the live league and in the latter stages of the live league before, but there was times there, considering he was a late replacement, of course, for Justin Smith, and I think he only found out the night before and didn't get down
himself down here to be tested, and
yeah, exactly, and didn't get down late on the Wednesday night, I do believe, and of course then the players arrived sort of around 7:30 a.m. And he had another 100+ average, of course, against Richard North on Friday, 100.20. That was a strange group. The Thursday, Northie won 4 out of 5.
$2 million.
And he looked, albeit just win a couple of games, that's all he needed to do. And he would have sort of qualified for tonight's final.
And then but he lost 4 out of 5 on the Friday.
Yeah, just didn't get going at all on the Friday, which was a shame. Gerald Cole again, we've seen flashes from him, but that was a fairly tough group, and it was played at a decent standard overall. Paul Hogan,
big shout out to him, because that tricep looked in bits in those last 2 games.
Yeah, I mean he was up on his toes, wasn't he? He was in absolute. He was
just trying to get him up,
and he nearly qualified. And I was thinking to myself, well, if he does, I don't think he'd be able to play.
Yeah, that injury looks.
Yeah, and listen, we've all been there and had that, and it's a repetitive strain injury, and it's just the pain is ridiculous. So yeah, good luck with the recovery for that, Paul, because he did play some very good stuff in the end. Really did get going.
Played some really, really good stuff. Then Group B, this was the one. This set a light, and although we didn't have those mega blockbuster moments, the overall standard of this group was so solid, it was unbelievable.
Yeah, detail on her debut as well, and she gets thrown into a super tough group.
She played better than what those stats suggest as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And ironically, the win came against Terry, an absolute thriller. I mean, she took out that ball finish. I think she wanted 94, and was it 94?
No, 107, because she hit the 3, then the 54 ball.
She hit the treble 1 going to the 54, of course, and then hit the 51, and listen, you couldn't have placed that ball.
I feel gone up and put it right in the middle. You couldn't have put it any more central.
And that would have been nice to see. She deserved to get something out of it, and it was a good win, and she was solid again, making her debut. She had a good chat with Dita on the way home on both nights. Absolutely, loved all the players do. I mean, I've never heard anybody have a negative word to say about it. For one, they're appreciative to get some competitive darts, in a really, really good environment.
Yeah, Carl Wilkinson topped the group, and again he was Mr. Consistent.
Yeah, only lost the 1 game, and that was the final match against Rhys Griffin, which was the best we've seen
of Rhys in that game.
Of Rhys over the 2 days.
Yeah,
and he sort of showed in that match why he was invited to come and play. But again, he said he just found it hard to settle because of A, lack of practice, and B, a completely new environment. But hopefully we'll see Rhys again. I'd like to see him in from the Monday.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him in from the Monday again and give him a fair crack. And as I keep harping on about, I want the best 12 women in darts to come and duke it out for a week.
Yeah, I think that will happen when travel restrictions swing, because you'd have to have Eileen and people like that.
Absolutely. We'd have to sort of go with go begging to Matt Porter and see if he'll let us have Lisa for a week. I think once they listen, it's not this is a professional environment and setup.
This is not playing Mickey Mouse.
No, in fairness, although they had the greatest players in the world, their home thing was hardly looked good, in my opinion. I mean, no, nothing against it, but it just didn't look great. Where this, we've got a production team and a TV studio. This is, and I can't see why they wouldn't let her play. That's my opinion. If they don't, I'd be disappointed. But yeah, you imagine having Mercury over when she can travel, Lisa, Dita, Lorraine,
Fallon,
Bo. I mean, we could put a real big 12 together, and great for women's game, great for us, and obviously, most importantly, great for the players.
Yeah, Jamie Kellin as well.
Yeah,
he gets better and better every time he comes back.
Yeah, he was another player that he's had a few opportunities, and he's he showed signs, but he actually was way more consistent than he's ever been in the live league. And I was, I'm pleased for him, and I'm pleased he's in tonight's final, because I think he's a player that just lacks confidence. That's all. Yeah,
completely. Did Paul Hogan recover from his injury? No, look, it's going to 3 or 4 weeks, that job. You could see it didn't look great, and even when he was throwing good darts, you could see.
I didn't speak to him because obviously I'm in a completely separate place, but from someone who's had tennis elbow, it looked very much like tennis elbow.
Yeah,
just basically an RSI.
Yeah, completely. We'll come on to that in a minute. Peter says tonight, sneaky feeling Conan wins tonight. He's certainly in the mix. We'll talk about it in a minute, but real hard. We were trying to work out who we fancy and who we don't, and it's
you looked at the outright odds for tonight, and I didn't get one right.
No.
That's how strange. Well, not strangely they've priced it up. They're basing it on something, but they're not basing it on the information I've got in front of me.
Not at all. Here we have the 2 groups for this evening: Group 1 and Group 2. First game up will be Martin Thomas against Jamie Kelling in that group. Then Carl Wilkinson against Conan Whitehead, the opening 2 games from each of them. Then Robert Rickwood against Martin Thomas, Terry Jenkins against Carl Wilkinson, and then we finish with these could be huge games for who goes through. Jamie Kelling against Robert Rickwood and Conan Whitehead against Terry Jenkins.
Well, it could turn out a complete minefield for me, and everybody could win one game, and then I'll be sat in there with me shoes and socks off.
Abacus trying to work out who's.
Yeah. I mean, looking at it, averages for the week. Terry Jenkins played 23 matches, has a running average of 89.59. This isn't the BDO, so there's no bonus points or anything like that on this, and a high of 99.93. Martin Thomas second, 15 matches, 88.83. Carl Wilkinson in third on 88.31. I mean, that is just. I mean, that's so tight.
Yeah,
it's coin flip stuff. And Terry Jenkins 6-1.
Scandalous
to win the whole thing. Yeah, he has the highest running average. He's at the most 180s by quite some distance, and has not played the most legs. He has the most 140s, joint with Robert Rickwood, 182. He has 87 140s, which is 6 more than anybody else. His checkout stats are up there. You know, everything's up there. He's lost matches he should have won. He's missed a few key doubles here and there, but he's now had 5 days on the board. He's had 3 in the morning, he's had 2 at night, he's acclimatized. It's at night. It's the perfect time to come out and play darts, especially if England can beat Ukraine. Well, maybe not for Martin. So yeah, I mean, to me, he's listen. You can't ignore the credentials and the resume of 9 major finals, one, God knows how many ranked events and non-ranked opens around the country. The guy is multiple 9-darters on TV. The guy is special, and there was signs that that's still in the locker. Consistency will be key, because we know Martin Thomas is rock solid. I've only seen one real bad performance out of Carl Wilkinson, and that was when it was all done and dusted. It was late last night. Well, it was the early hours of the morning, and he just switched off, and then all of a sudden Reece played his best performance. And then you can't ignore Conan Whitehead. You know what I mean? He has the second highest average of the week, 102.84. He hits 180s for fun. I mean, he hit 13 180s in 10 matches.
Looking at the fixtures, first of all, who misses out?
Yeah, well, this is. I can see them all winning one game. I really can.
I agree.
I mean, it's almost. Listen, you have to sort of look at it and go, Jamie Kelling and Robert Rickwood are the 2 weakest players, but what they have shown us is that they can completely, turn that.
Well, Jamie's last game last night, we averaged nearly 97, a 4-0 win,
and played absolutely beautifully.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, he didn't look like he was going to miss. If when you've got players who can perform at that level, it's almost impossible to predict. You can only just sort of. You've got to look at them and the frequency that they can do it. But remember, they've only got to win less than a handful of matches tonight. And importantly, although it's great winning it, that third and fourth place is massive, because on week 10, there's £12,000 up for grabs, £6,000 for the winner.
Exactly.
I mean, that's huge money. That's more money than the runner-up gets at the Pro Tour.
Yeah,
£1,000 more.
Absolutely unreal, and a massive shout out to Robert Rickwood, because, like we say, he looked a little bit like a fish out of water.
He was out of his
Monday,
depth.
Tuesday.
Yeah, he was out of his depth.
But then when Thursday and Friday we saw the very best of him, it shows that mad qualifier is brilliant, because he paid his money, he took a chance, and now
listen, he's now a couple of matches away, 4 matches away
from getting Champions Week.
From getting in Champions Week. Do you think about the practice he put in extra for that? He'd have 4 weeks to prepare for that if he can. Any of the players that find their way into Champions Week, it's a proper bit of money. Where's the most money in amateur darts right now?
Yeah, completely.
I mean, what are they playing for on the Challenge Tour? £2,000. £2,000 the winner. For 3 times the amount that they're going to get for that.
Jonathan asks, Chris, is Terry Jenkins the best player never to win a major?
Yeah, himself. And then you'd have to sort of look at Ronnie Baxter. I can't include Merv King, because Merv King won the World Masters, of course, didn't he?
Joker is in the house. John, how are we doing, mate?
John O'Shea.
Hope you are well, mate.
Be good to see John back in the mix as well.
Played some really good stuff when he was down here.
Very good.
Top guy. Thanks for joining us, John. I like this one because we talked about this one as well. Not sure whether it's my bad eyesight, but it looked like Jared Cole was using a different barrel.
Yeah, we were messaging each other, and I was like, "Are they different?"
Yeah,
and you were like,
he switched from, I think, certainly Friday. Yeah, maybe Thursday. I'd have to look it back, but he certainly used a different one on the Friday, and they looked to me like the Keen Barry target dart, obviously
Pixel.
They're both with target anyway. Yeah. So yeah, I think he switched to the Keen Barry Pixel dart on Friday, definitely, maybe Thursday as well. But yeah, certainly they were. It wasn't your eyesight, Adam. Good spot, because we got it as well.
I avoid often talking about it, because if you have a situation where we have seen it before, where dart players don't use the darts that are supplied by their manufacturer sometimes,
don't want to drop them in,
and I don't really want to put them in the shit, so I tend to avoid it, to be honest.
Yeah, I cooked it straight away, because obviously I don't come to the studio every day. I work from home a couple of days, and I pinged you straight away. I was like, new darts.
And I didn't recognise them, of course, as Keen Barry's. So, which would have been all right on this occasion, because they are both sponsored by Target. Yeah.
Dan says, Phil, do you know when the Super Series list is coming out? No, mate. PDC will drop it whenever they get time, probably after the Challenge Tour at some point.
When's the deadline for entries?
It's closed already, so they know it anyway. But
it'll be usually over the next couple of days, then, isn't it? Well, it's usually
Monday it starts, so probably tomorrow or later tonight when the Challenge Tour is done, I would guess. So yeah. Right, let's go on to this one. Oh no, actually, I'm not going to let it off the hook yet. Where's your 10 pence going this evening?
I'm literally, I mean, I have been on fire in terms of the bets. Although last night, I hope everybody was asleep, because they made Carl Wilson a 1-2 shot to beat Rhys Griffin. And I was like, I hate the phrase.
Printing money, did you use?
Yeah. Prior to that, I picked 7 winners out Monday and then did 5 every day, and they all won. And then I was like, the last one last night, I avoided it last night because there was no real value about it, because, the top 3 were such short odds. I thought there was nothing there. I picked a couple of 180s out. And then I sort of was like, buying money 1-2, and then lo and behold, he has his worst performance and Rhys has his best. So I'm going. I cannot ignore the value of Terry Jenkins at 6-1.
6-1 is a huge price.
Yeah, he may not go on to win it,
but the value, that price is
one thing for sure. I wouldn't sit with you next week when we do a recap and go, "Oh, I can't believe he won it." It wouldn't surprise me if he won it and won it in a counter.
Off the stats, 6-1 is criminal.
Yeah, well, he literally dominates the stats.
Right, you haven't seen this yet, have you?
No, I can't wait.
Right, next week's reveal. Who will be in the Online Darts Live League next week? It's going to appear now.
Ooh, look at that.
So Group A, we will see Fallon Sherrick returning.
This is Monday morning, 9:30.
Gary Stone for the first time. Kevin Painter, the artist,
Gary
for the first
Stone
time.
won the
Mad Scottish.
Yeah, because I did the commentary on that. He played absolutely brilliant.
Martin Adams returns. Neil Duff.
Kevin Painter and Martin Adams could be tasty.
Neil Duff for the
Neil
first
Duff,
time.
man from Northern Ireland. Very, very good dart player.
And Richard Rowland, the mad qualifier as well. If he can emulate what Roderick was done,
absolutely.
That should be good.
He would be inspired by this. He will be inspired by watching this.
Completely.
Oh, look at Group B.
Group B, Jim Williams.
This is Thursday and Friday night.
Right. Jim Williams for the first time. Steve Hind for the first time. And the reigning, defending BDO World Champion,
Wayne Warren
returns.
I'm going to say we're going to see a different version of Wayne in this one. He's been here before.
But first competitive darts for a long time.
Yeah, things are starting to get back to some form of normality. So I expect that he would have, had the opportunity to get a bit of practice in. I think he'll go well in Group B. Although Jim Williams and Steve Iron, and you got to remember we're going to get 2 out of Group A. Yeah.
And then, sorry for my pronunciation, but David Warreneski, Josh Richardson comes back, stealth,
brilliant.
And Keelan Kay
back for another go.
And Keelan played some really good stuff last time out, and I was massively impressed with him. But that,
so if you don't understand how it works, the winner of Group A goes straight through into tonight. Well, the Saturday night final. Second and third go into Group B, which is Thursday and Friday night, and then the bottom 3 from Group A goes into the 3 spots available in Group C, which is Thursday and Friday morning. Yeah, good luck.
That's a good week.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to narrow that down. Pick me 6 players out of that lot for the Saturday night's final. Somebody of serious quality is going to be missing out.
Oh, completely. That's a minefield to come through.
And normally I wouldn't be doing it, but of course, Paul will be on PDC duty from Monday, pdc.tv. Make sure you're signed up to that because we're on air from 9:30 till about 1:30, quarter to 2.
And then,
boom, 2 o'clock. You can get involved in this and you can follow it
on our live stream.
On the online darts live stream. So if you don't have PDC TV and you want to keep up to speed as it's happening,
we will bring you everything.
Barzy will be doing that with his pals.
To be fair, for a little idea that we had, that's taken on something.
Yeah, well, I started doing it for Q Score, didn't I? And it was massively popular, but it's such hard work.
Tell me about it.
Such hard work. It's a real long stint. 4
days of hard grafting.
And you got to remember, you've got 16 boards going at once. You've got to try and keep abreast of them all.
Two stream boards. That's why there's 3 of us. We've got dedicated boards.
But if you've not watched that before, which I'm sure most of you have, but if you are new to the Online Darts channel, make sure you get involved. It's good fun. And the chat room's open, so you can get involved in and chat with the lads.
Raven, I'm hungry for a muffin now. It's a shame we haven't got walk-ons. We get to chuck muffins in the
Trust me, next year we might have walk-ons.
There we are. Mark says that's a good week of darts. Can't wait.
It's a very good lineup.
Absolutely. Peter, strong lineup. Very, very strong.
Well, there's going to be some good players disappointed not to make it through to the finals.
John O'Shea, nice lineup. Ratings will go through the roof. Yeah. Well, I think we're going to see some big averages next week. I really do.
Yeah, and obviously the work is still ongoing to try and. I mean, I'd love it if the PDC allowed us to use 65 to 128 in the rankings. Give them players an opportunity to earn some money, and another to just give them some competitive darts.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Daniel says. You guys can talk about the World Matchplay. That I think there's only 2 spots left. Personally, mathematically,
I think
it's not done. But
4 or 5 mathematically, but some strange results about that.
Yeah, I genuinely think there's only 2 spots up for grabs. 16, which is Watamina and Razma at the moment, and I think there's a block of maybe 10 underneath them that would have to a final or
would have to get to a final and make a semi. I think. One would have to make a final. A couple would have to win.
Yeah, or you'd have to maybe have 4 quarterfinals or something like that, which is tough going to make it up. But the good thing for the chasing pack is Razma and Watamina aren't in any kind of form right now.
No, absolutely, and they'll be feeling the pressure. They're aware more than anybody of their position, and that I've been there myself, and it completely changes the way you approach all of your matches.
Yeah. But yeah, for me, Chris says, loving the online darts. Our pleasure, mate. We're glad you're enjoying it. That's why we do it for you guys. If you guys didn't want to watch it, we wouldn't do it. But that's
we don't
why,
care.
that's why we do. But yeah, look, I think I'd love to see Adrian Lewis do it. There were signs at Super Series 4 that perhaps he turned a corner in his career.
Yeah, I mean, I worry about Adrian. I've known Adrian since he was sort of like 15, 16. One of the most talented players I've ever seen, and he proved that. Back-to-back world championships. I know how hard it is to win one. Never mind win back-to-backs and other things, of course, not just that. And his career started to really. Well, it's been tumbling, hasn't it, for a while? But the signs are there that he's just starting to listen. Sometimes you need, and the problem people always forget as well. He's had so much going on in his personal and private life with not only just his own health, but Sarah's as well. And I can't emphasize enough. If things are going on in your personal and private life, it is so hard to switch that off and just go up and play darts, because darts is such a mental game. When you get to that level, 90% of it is played between your ears. The one who's strongest mentally, it's not a shock that they're the ones that are winners.
Completely. Someone asked, it was Mark, says, is my favourite player Lewis in the match play? Not yet, mate. He's about £5,700 off. Don't quote me on that, but it's around that. So it could take.
Someone said something about Paul Nicholson up there. What was that?
July's going to be an awesome darts for. Yeah, July's going to be absolutely.
What do I think of? Go on, stick that up. What do you think of Paul Nicholson's idea? We should have a week where everybody taking to have their nicknames closely related. I'm sure he was wanting a superhero. That's typical of Paul.
Yeah.
Paul likes wrestling, don't you, Paul?
So do I. I'm not.
Oh yeah, God, yeah. No wonder you do it like that.
Yeah, we get so much stick out there for it. We're talking about ideas and things like that. Chris Mason, the best not to win a major.
No, not. I mean, I'd consider myself one of probably around in the top 10 of players that should have won one that never maybe.
Yeah, I like this one as well from Chris. We've been speaking about this a lot. Do you think DAZN will take darts from Sky eventually?
100%.
They already stream it in Germany and America.
Yeah, outside of where Sky broadcast, it's broadcast in all those regions by DAZN. Obviously, the business deals that Matchroom have are paramount to what DAZN do with the darts. Their numbers in America are great, and Canada, and like I say, all over Europe, it's always on DAZN. So I would imagine it comes as a package. I mean, how much money do Sky have left? Their subscription numbers continue to fall at an alarming rate. And you've only got to sort of think that the profit in that, with how much sport costs. I mean, how much do they invest in football for a start? Never mind the darts. The darts to them, it only becomes massive money when they don't have that excess money to reinvest in other sport. And I think it's more or less, it's not if when it goes to DAZN, it's when. And I love the fact that with DAZN, although I don't like their boxing team they have in America. They are absolutely woeful. As you may have seen,
Eddie's done.
Eddie's put together his own team. Some of them I like, some of them I don't. Wouldn't be hard to work that out.
Mike Costello's a great song.
Mike Costello is just, mate, as broadcasters go, I'm a huge boxing fan. It's my first passion.
How he's done that, because I don't think you'd ever get him away from the job he did. So,
I listen. They must have. I mean, he must have over the years. They must have wanted him as a broadcaster, but because of his relationship with the Beeb and Radio 5, was it Radio 5? Yeah. So the Beeb, they've never been able to tempt him away. But for me, he's up there in terms of not just in broadcasting terms, but in boxing terms, one of the most knowledgeable people out there.
I don't know this as well, but
Sky, effectively, when Sky lose their control, will, a lot of the things they do and people they use will be gone because they won't fit that DAZN model.
As well.
And they won't fit Eddie's model either. Eddie certainly wouldn't have the commentary team that's in currently.
he's been very specific with who he wanted and the demographic he's looking to hit.
Absolutely.
With the people he's been in, like Maya Jama and people like that. Very current.
She's current. She understands the industry. Not necessarily the boxing industry, but she understands
the sport and broadcasting.
Exactly, and how important online is. Listen, it's all about numbers. So when eventually the darts do go onto the zone, expect massive changes, which is exciting. Listen, I'm very happy. Everybody said to me over the years, I work for Sky. I was the first ex-player, apart from Eric and Keith and anything else, to really start getting involved. And I worked for Sky for 2 or 3 years. It was my decision never ever to think about going. I just don't like them. I don't like how they are behind the scenes. I don't like their attitude. I don't like the way they broadcast. So for me, my fit in with ITV, where I get an opportunity to get involved with production. My ideas are often not used, but they're thought about. ITV very much is a team. Of course you have people that are executives, but you have runners. Well, some of the people that started at ITV, the runners, are now directors.
Yeah,
that's the kind of team ITV are, and we broadcast as a team. Everybody's as important as everybody else, and I love that environment. And I'm given, I'm blessed because I am given a role where I get a lot of freedom, and I'm allowed to have an opinion. Where, as we know on the other channels, you're not.
The way with DAZN as well, the demographic of how people consume and watch content has changed massively over the last few years and will continue to change. And DAZN just fits that so well.
Yeah, well, it just shows you with Sky, Matchroom is a really dynamic company. Eddie is a forerunner. You think of what he did with the boxing when in lockdown, when he did it at Maskell's. Again, he thinks outside of the box, and imagine what he could do with that side of darts. Obviously, ITV won't get. I mean, I'd love it if we got the Grand Slam back, because I think we used to do a wonderful job with it, and we did it first, obviously. Imagine what he could do with the budget they could create with DAZN. I mean, he will take it to another level, and again, totally different to what we do on ITV. But some people love Sky, some people love ITV. That's the beauty. It's your choice. You have a mute button. You have a remote control. You can do what you want with it.
Completely. One here. We've got some fans in Germany. Always a pleasure to have you guys along.
Thank you, Val.
Yeah. Is the draw? Yeah. Is the draw for the World Matchplay the last day of the Super Series? No, I believe it is a week Monday.
Yes.
So Super Series
on Sky.
So yeah, Super Series finishes on the Thursday, and I think it will be live on Sky or certainly across PDC channels on the Monday.
Yeah, certainly be on PDC TV over there. It'll probably be done on their YouTube and everything else.
Yeah.
Exactly, Chris.
Where is it? What else have we got here? Keep them coming. Some of them we won't put on screen.
Diplomatic as always.
Yeah. Thank you very much, G Adventures. It's all good. But yeah, Super Series as well. Once we get some more questions in, this is the last opportunity for some of these players to get it right before we head back to the hallowed Winter Gardens.
Well, the one player I would be worried about if it went for the final Pro Tour in the last Super Series was Peter Wright, because up until then, I didn't see him winning a first round game. But whatever he changed and whatever he got right on the final day, he was like a different animal, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was absolutely outstanding. And again, Michael's got to do something. 22 tournaments without a win. That's. If you said to me, go 22 days without a win, I'd be shocked. Never mind 22 tournaments. And I don't care who you are, how successful you've been, that will be bothering him.
Confidence.
Yeah, absolutely.
Winning breeds winning.
Yeah, and it's infectious. And like I've said, when you so many of these matches where you see a player pinning the doubles first or second dart, it goes through the match doing the same. Once they start missing, they stay missing. And he has gone missing. I mean, you can't say he's like completely fallen off the cliff and his darts are rubbish, because they're far from it. But the problem is everybody around him.
Signs of the last one, just started to find a little bit.
And as we know, on TV is different. I mean, of all tournaments that will suit him to sort of make a return, it will be the Matchplay. It's long format.
The fans coming back as well.
And fans are coming back. A lot of players are going to be affected by the fans coming back that have won events behind closed doors. I mean, it's just got a fascinating dynamic. I mean, we can't wait. It's our favourite tournament. Yeah. If you can't watch it on Sky, you can listen to all the action. Every evening session will be on TalkSport 2. Yeah. So download the app. So when you're on your phone, in your car, or if you've got digital radio, you can listen online. Make sure you sign up for it. And you won't miss a dart. Yeah,
I can't wait just to be back at the Winter Gardens. Last year, don't get me wrong, Matt and the team did an amazing job to get the events on behind closed doors. But being in Milton Keynes, it didn't feel like the Matchplay.
No, but what they did, the money reinvested to continue for these. I mean, I'm not sure how much Barry lost. I mean, he will tell me at the fishing aspect, but obviously
it's millions.
I think it's over 5 million. That's what I heard anyway. I don't know how true that is, but looking at it wouldn't surprise me when you think about the Premier League and everything else, because they missed the back half of the last Premier League, all of this Premier League.
Yeah.
Apart from obviously the end, but then it was only
4 or 5 months away. It was.
So they certainly wouldn't have recouped their money there. But yeah, all credit to them for putting them on. In terms of the actual images, Sky did such a good job. You didn't even know there wasn't fans there.
The broadcasting was absolutely top draw the way they did it, but it's a different dynamic when you've got someone booing you, whether people like it or not, or in certain venues, if you've got 2,000 people booing you.
I mean, I look at players. My obvious one is Dimitri, because he likes to pause and he likes to take his time, and we know that the crowd gets on your back when you do that. Another one is Jose, because sometimes when he just does that moment where he can't work out what he's got left and he takes a step back, as soon as you take a step, and I don't care who you are, that affects how you release the dart. And then you've got the other players that sort of respond to the crowd. You Gezi Price, obviously Michael Van Gerwen, Peter Wright loves the crowd. So some of the players that may not have shown great form during this period, although they've been successful as well. I think it's going to be all change for me.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll get a surprise winner.
I think it'll be someone within the top
10, 12, maybe. Yeah, I'd be surprised if there's anybody outside the top 8. But there's a few players who are ranked in positions that shouldn't be, but just because of what's going on.
Johnny being the obvious one.
Johnny Clayton being the obvious one. But I don't. I think of him now as sort of. Although I use the rankings, I have sort of like the top 8 in my head, and he's without doubt one of the top 8. One thing I really pray that they do, whether it be on hopefully the opening night or even the Sunday night, just have a champions parade, get all the players who've won something in lockdown and let them have a walk on and let them be appreciated by the crowd, because they deserve that. I mean, apart from they've been robbed of the opportunity of winning in front of a crowd, they've been robbed of an absolute fortune of money on the exhibition tours, where they take the trophies on show and let the fans see them, the meet and greets, pictures with the trophies. They obviously won't get to do that, but at least they'll be able to, an outpour of emotion and celebration for what these players have achieved over the last sort of 18 months.
Yeah, definitely. No, I just can't wait to be back in the hallowed Empress Ballroom. I can't wait.
I'm not a fan of driving, so I do so much of it, but I cannot wait to load my car up and
when you pull off the M6.
Yeah.
It just interesting one from Winmore yesterday announced that new Simon Whitlock darts we're going to see in the Super Series. And speaking to Pazzo, who's obviously works here as well, they're a bit of a hybrid. They're a bit of a cross. We've still got the scallop.
Yeah.
But they're more like the original Whitlock.
Right, okay.
Darts. So they're still like.
Yeah, because the darts he's been using in recent years, they're a real strange shape, aren't they?
It's like it's got the scalp and it's got a real aggressive ball nose.
Yeah.
Where these are more like the old ones, where a bit rounded, but they still got the scallop in there. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, someone like Simon sort of is the kind of player that responds to a change. And listen, every time you sort of fear for him in his place in world darts, he sort of goes away, reinvents himself, grafts hard, comes back, and goes deep in a tournament and gets himself back up in the rankings. So I never really worry about Simon. And listen, he's an Aussie. He's the ultimate competitor. He must. I mean, I only ever played him once when he just joined, and I played him my last little hurrah, where ironically I made it all the way to the semi-final. I beat MVG that day, Gary Anderson, Whitlock. But I did something against Whitlock, I'll never forget. And I didn't see it for years and years and years. I won 120 in a real key leg, and I went for a treble 20. Obviously, it was a complete blocker. Couldn't see the treble 20, and I went, oh. The look on his face was immense. I ended up losing to Terry Jenkins 6-4.
I like this one from John O'Shea. He says, "Can I show off my trophy?"
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, mate. We like that. Where is it? Raven Effect. We need to get a big trophy cabinet. Meet and greets, yep. The world seniors.
Imagine if Phil brought all of his trophies. He'd probably fill the surface down.
Ironically, though, I didn't know till the other day. I can't remember who told me. He doesn't have any of the original trophies.
No, they used to go into a pub run by a pal of mine called the Sagger Makers, and there was a room out the back. I used to practice in it with Phil, and basically it's a huge room, and all the walls totally around the outsides were all of his trophies that he'd ever won, and it filled the outside walls of this room.
But I found out the other day that Barney has got the world title that he won. That trophy he owns. Thing.
Yeah.
Don't know if many people know this, but MVG has the original Sipple Dale trophy.
Yeah.
I just think it's fascinating that Phil doesn't have any of the
the
originals.
Yeah, no, I mean, you had to, for the BDO Worlds back then, the embassy as it was, you had to win it 3 times to get to keep it.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't, so he never got to keep it. I think he has an original Worlds, a PDC World.
The skull one, the little ball one, that was the original one, wasn't it?
I think the glass ball one,
wasn't it? Ball. Then they went to the one with the base.
I'm pretty sure he's got a Grand Slam one.
So you think it's funny, like the Worlds ones.
Yeah, I used to practice in this room with him, and people would actually come to the pub to go out, and it was almost like a tourist attraction.
Yeah.
And of course, when Phil was there, it was great because he'd have pictures with him, and amazingly, sometimes I'd be there with him, and he'd give stuff away. Yeah. And I'd be like, "Oh my God, we give it!" I'll have that. But yeah, it was amazing. I remember when I first went up there, I literally just spent 2 hours walking around. I remember that one, remember that. But it's just full of trophies from all over the world. It was an amazing place. I don't think it's there anymore. But yeah, it was. Yeah, what a place that was. I wonder what I must ask him what's happened to him.
Yeah. There's one here about Conor McGregor. I'm not a huge UFC fan, but
does Conor McGregor retire if he doesn't win the trilogy fight? But yeah, absolutely. I don't think he has anything to offer. But he'll still earn a chunk of money.
He's earning more money away from UFC than he is now. Yeah,
he's one of the biggest earners in
his whiskey business. Is like turning over.
Yeah, proper 12.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't need to fight. So listen, if he wants to fight,
he loves to fight though.
Yeah, he does. He just loves fighting. I mean, those people that do the mixed martial arts, they're a slightly different breed of fighters. They're a bit. Well, both are mad.
Yeah. Where are we? MVG, Gary Anderson, Phil Taylor, Barney all struggle with change of darts manufacturer.
Really? I'd probably check that and then check some of your stats.
Phil did originally, but then the one when he won his last match play, that target barrel, shall we say, was rather similar to the Ross one in the end.
Yeah, but very much so. But you got to remember, periods of when they change manufacturers, they've been in totally different periods of their career. Phil Taylor went from using an Eric Bristow dart to that Unicorn aggressive grip dart, which although was a similar top barrel shape and size and weight, just a different grip pattern, to a completely different dart, totally. Yeah. Totally, completely different dart.
To the John Lowe bulbous little thing.
And won everything there was to win in the game.
Yeah. This one here did the idea of creating a new tournament. It wasn't a new tournament, but the Grand Slam trophy is now named the Eric Bristow Trophy.
Yeah. There's no. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, there's no. There was no tournament created.
No, the Grand Slam trophy.
There's no room in the calendar. So like they did with the Worlds, they named it after Sid Waddell, and then the Grand Slam they named it after
the Eric Bristow Trophy. And
and of course we lost Bruce Spenley. Of course, I don't know whether you.
Yeah, me and Nico spoke about it again, but again, you know him as well. That voice is synonymous and instantly recognisable. You go, that's Bruce.
Yeah, I'll never get the moment when he did one of my first ever matches on Sky. It was Yeah, unbelievable. Lovely guy. Ultimate professional. I always say about referees, very much like boxing referees, if you don't know that they're there, they're doing an amazing job. And he was very, very much that, very professional. Always felt comfortable when he was on stage, well, when you were on stage with him. Really managed the crowd well as
Wasn't
well.
Howard Foster then?
No, absolutely not.
Mike says, yes, they have, but we will put them up again for you if you give me a second. These are the names from next week, and just enjoy them because that looks sensational.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing Fallon back. I'm hoping she'll have a slightly different mindset as things are starting to progress, and hopefully she can return to playing tournament darts and get herself back up to speed. Remember, when we initially started the lockdown and she'd just come off the back of playing
a lot of darts,
her performances were absolutely outstanding in the live league. But as the longer we've gone on, that she's gone without playing in her own environment and winning tournaments, her game's dipped. But Gary Stone, another great player from Scotland.
I look forward to Jim Williams as well.
Yeah, listen, Jim. I think something like this would be perfect for Jim and Kevin. Kevin will be able to just get his head down and focus. I always say I don't think you become a bad player overnight.
No, of course
not. And as quick as things can sort of go south, you can change them and make them go north. And the problem with tournament play is, when you're out, you're out. That's it. And you've got too much time to dwell on it. In this, you've got about 20 minutes
and you're back in.
And you're back in to go again. If you spit your dummy out and the chin drops in this, you're going to get pumped.
Yeah.
So, and that's why we see the majority of the players that come in and they give it everything. They give it a lot, as we seen with Rhys Griffin last night. You know, had nothing to play for, come out and produced his best performance over the 2 days. So, yeah, listen, if I was a player, I was still playing, I'd absolutely be all over this. I'd be driving them mad.
Yeah, awesome lineup. Lot of love.
Great lineup.
Right, guys, we are going to wrap this up kind of early because we all know that in 10 minutes there's a certain There's a certain little football game going on, and we know that you all want to watch it. We're going to watch it here as well when we get ready. So
and have an Indian or a Chinese.
We're going to have something. Yeah, we'll find something on a food app.
I'd love a beer, but
but just want to thank you all for joining us. We know the Euros is on, but all of you taking time out to join us, we massively appreciate it. Remember, all the action live from 10 o'clock, the Online Darts YouTube channel and Sporty Stuff TV. Chris Mason will be calling it in. Who will be crowned champion? We will find that in a few hours. We've been Online Darts, and we will see you all very, very soon.